Does my hair look okay? So you obviously have to edit this part, you walking around in your shorts.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought this was a Zoom thing.
Thought this was a Zoom thing, hey? Ayo.
All right, you ready? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Imperfect Marriage. I'm TJ.
I'm Jennifer.
And we just wanted to create a YouTube channel with the goal of giving people practical biblical help and hope, not for a perfect marriage, but for a marriage that is full of love, joy, purpose, and fun.
Yes. So we are so excited to be on this adventure, because that's what we're calling it, and see what God does and where He leads us. So we hope that you're going to join us on this exciting adventure by clicking like or subscribe. And if you know of anyone who might enjoy or benefit from this, please share it with them.
So today's episode, this is episode 1, and if you knew how inexperienced we are with social media, and maybe that's coming through. We've never really done YouTube videos. We've never had social media accounts and all that stuff. But we're at a point where we feel like God told us to do it, so we're going to do it.
Finally.
So it is pretty funny and ironic. To anybody that knows us well, they'd be able to tell you, like, we are the most unlikely people to be posting anything online. But our goal for today's episode is just to give you guys an introduction, kind of let you know who we are, how we got to this point right here today, and then what
our goal is. Yes, absolutely.
So, who are we? What's our story?
Who are we? I'm sure you're all wondering, the 3 people watching, who we are, okay? So, we actually knew each other in high school. We didn't rekindle anything, but we got together in college, and we've been together and inseparable ever since. So, here we had a 17 and 18-year-old, and, we're on our journey together since then. So it's super fun. So we've been together over 17 years, married for over 12. We have 2 amazing kiddos, an awesome little pup, and we're just trying to live the life that God has given us to. We're just trying to obey Him. So I am a teacher, and I've been teaching for 13 years, and I love my job so much, and I teach 2nd grade. And I have an amazing partner, an amazing team, an amazing school. I love everyone so much. And oh my goodness, teaching is just such a passion of mine. I love my babies that I get to see every day. My birth babies and like the kiddos I get to see at school every day, because it's like they're just amazing, and I love them, and they tell the truth, and they're just a joy. But I love teaching, and I love teaching little kids to adults, middle and high school. I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. When I see teachers who are like, I teach high school, I'm like, oh, God bless you. Like, I can't. I don't know. Middle school, it's like, so much happening there. So, but like, I love teaching. So, however God can use our gifts and abilities to teach is going to be awesome. So we actually both went to, I say we journeyed together. We truly did. We went to the same college of education. And we both became teachers, which was super fun. And so again, I'm teaching for 13 years in the classroom. Yeah.
And like Jen said, I graduated also with a degree in education. So I taught for 8.5 years in the public school district here where we live. And I taught students with disabilities, and then I taught PE and health and things like that. And I loved my job as a PE teacher.
Yes. Oh, you did,
And she mentioned, I was a middle school PE teacher. She mentioned God bless high school and middle school teachers, but I could not imagine doing elementary.
Right.
So God bless you and all your colleagues as well. I got to a spot where I thought I had my dream job. I was teaching at the best school in the district.
You actually told my dad, I have my dream job. I'm going to retire here.
Yeah. And this was back in 2014, 15.
Yeah.
And I loved my job there. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the kids there. I loved the opportunities to coach and do things beyond just teaching in the classroom. We got to do extracurricular things and sports and all that. And I loved that. And then a couple years into that, about 3 years into that, God started to do something funny in my heart, and He kind of gave me this. I've heard the term before, this holy discontent.
Right.
I just felt like there was something more that God might be calling us to do. So, with much prayer and consideration and a lot of hard conversations with people that we knew and loved in the world of education, we left to go join our staff at the church we were attending, join the staff there full-time in a role of director of growth and outreach, a role that also, much like this, we were totally unqualified for, and just had to trust God to do what He wanted to do through us. And so for the last 3.5 years, I was on staff at that church, and a lot of failures, a lot of successes, a lot of areas of growth, a lot of giftings that God kind of revealed in my life and in our life as a couple that we didn't know we had before, and a lot of great opportunities. So we have no regrets about our time there.
No, absolutely.
We are so thankful for the people there, and for the staff that we got to work with, and for the opportunities that we were provided there. But much like that holy discontent that came creeping in
3.5 years
when
ago.
I was a teacher, God started working on our heart last year. Really, probably around the time that we all got quarantined because of COVID and all that. God kind of just started shifting the priorities and the focus of our family, and maybe preparing us for what's next. So after 3.5 years on staff at the church we were at, I sat down with our lead pastor and I said, hey, I love you. I love this church. We'll be praying for you, but we feel like God is moving us to somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And that conversation kind of went with, okay, that's excited. We're here for you. We're praying for you, but what's next? And all we can say is, I don't know.
We don't know what's next.
So
scary and terrifying that you have no clue what's next in your life.
Yeah, and so we're sitting here today in August of 2021, and I gave my resignation back in March of this year, and with no real idea of what was next for us, just knew that God said it's time to go. It was kind of like an Abraham thing where God said, I want you to go. I'm not going
to tell you what's next.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what's next, but I want you to just take the first step, which was a big first step for us, stepping away from a church that we knew and loved for over 15 years, the church we were married at, the church where our babies were dedicated, the church where our son was baptized, and a church full of family and friends that we dearly, dearly loved. To walk away from that was one thing, and then also to walk away from a steady paycheck, to walk away from health benefits that were covered, to walk away from a retirement, a matching 403B account, that was a big deal, especially for me because I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan, and I'm borderline obsessed with finances and financial security. And so God,
borderline obsessed.
All right, I am obsessed.
Yes.
And so for God to lead us in a direction that said, hey, you're going to lose half your household income, you're going to lose your health benefits, but
trust me.
Do you trust me? That's kind of been the overarching question that we feel like God has been asking us in this season is, do you trust me? And if we're honest, for much of our lives, we've created a lifestyle that doesn't require a whole lot of trust in God a lot of times. Maybe for the big things, but we have our retirement account, and we have our savings account, our emergency fund, and we have, family and friends nearby, and thankfully we've been healthy, so we haven't even had to rely on God for our health necessarily, or any health scares. So this is a season where we feel like God's saying, just trust me, I'll show you what's next. And so in this process, since we officially came off staff at the beginning of the summer, we've just taken some time with family. We've taken some time to just be together, to be still, to avoid trying to manufacture the next opportunity. And in fact, there have been several job offers that have come in. And when we prayed and talked about them, we felt like God was saying, I told you, just trust me, be still in this season. So
we always felt like, even since the beginning, like when we were dating and engaged, that God was like, you guys are going to do something with marriage. And we were always like, oh, that's so nice, God. Like, that's so cute of you. But like, what are we going to do? And like, this is just the first step. And we're like, oh, we need to have things planned out. But, we've been thinking and praying, and we're just like, what if this is part of the journey? What if you guys joining us to find out what's next is part of the journey for us? Because we don't know. We're introducing ourselves. Like, we can't wait to see what's next, like what God reveals for us to do next. But it's just trusting Him to say, just make a video and leave it to me. So it's very fun just to be like, okay, what's happening? Well, I mean, we still don't know what's happening.
Yeah. And at the risk of sounding arrogant, because we don't want to come across like that.
Gosh, no.
We are blessed with a far, far from perfect marriage, but with a marriage that is great, that is fulfilling, that is,
Jesus,
that we pray is honoring God. And if I'm honest, our marriage is the thing that I love most about my life, and I think that it's the thing. Again, I don't want to sound overly confident or arrogant.
But we want people to have this.
Yeah.
We want you to want to come home at the end of the day to your spouse and your kids. If you think to yourself, oh my gosh, like I don't want to go home because I don't want to see my spouse, like that's the problem.
Yeah.
So like we want to give you that hope to be like, I love my spouse. My marriage is like, besides God is my number one priority. Like that's what we want everyone to have.
Yeah. And again, we're calling this, endeavor or whatever you want to call it. We're calling this imperfect marriage because we don't want to lead people to believe that if you just follow, steps A and B, God will give you C, which is a perfect marriage.
Right.
We know that there's no such thing as a perfect marriage.
Like this is literally called imperfect marriage,
right?
Because no marriage is perfect. But we want you to live up, to be able to live with what God has to offer.
Right. And so we feel like our marriage is one of the things that we're best at.
Yes.
And we know that that's all God. We
Absolutely.
want to be very quick to give him all the credit for that. Right. But we also know that when God gives you a blessing or God gives you a gift, he doesn't just give it to you for your own personal enjoyment and fulfillment. When God gives us something, he gives it to us so that we can then use it to somebody else. Absolutely. To give it back to him and to let him use it however he wants. So that's our goal with this. We're not trying to get rich. We're not trying to be some huge social media influence. We feel like God has blessed us with a solid marriage, and we just want to help other people have the same thing because we know how valuable that can be, and we know God's intention and God's plan for marriages and families. And we live according to the way that he designed. It changes the world. It changes your kids. It changes future generations. And we are big believers that so many of the problems that our culture and our world faces today could be, at least improved, if not totally fixed, if marriages and families were solid. Marriage and family is just it's a cornerstone to any culture, to any society. So we just want to help however we can, and however God asks us to do that, we just want to open our hands and say, all right, God, it's yours, and we'll do whatever you want us to do, which is scary, especially when you have a personality type that likes to be in control and likes to know, all right, God, I'll do it as long as you give me the whole map and let me read the whole book ahead of time. Then I'll do it. But right now, where God's got us is, I'm going to show you, maybe not even the next full step. I'm going to show you the next half a step.
Oh my gosh.
and just go with it. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully, our passion comes through. Hopefully, what we really want to emphasize is authenticity and vulnerability. And
oh my goodness.
Tell me.
Authenticity. Y'all listen. I had this, I don't know, was it a revelation, right? I'm like, babe, I feel like God's telling me it's, we're calling it imperfect marriage, which means guess what? Our videos can't be perfect. So guess what we're not doing? Babe, tell him.
She doesn't want to edit the video, so there'll be slight editing to add some, overlays and things like that. But
music.
We don't want any of our viewers or any of our friends and family who are watching this to view it and be like, "There's no way they're really like that. There's no way that's real."
That's not them.
We want to honor God in being who we are in front of the camera, the same people that we are
off of the
in
camera.
our home. So we'll be crazy. We'll probably mess up a lot, and hopefully that'll be okay.
But it's important that you see that. Because we're not perfect and we're not claiming to be. So I think it's super fun that you guys get to see everything. It's so fun. It's going to be so fun.
So before we end up making this an hour-long video that nobody will ever finish, we'll start wrapping up. But the last thing we just wanted to kind of touch on before we say goodbye for today is, what are our goals? What are the things that we hope to accomplish through this? And I know we've touched on some of that, but as we said in the introduction, we want to provide a resource or a community of people who know that it's okay to not be okay, who know that it's okay to not have a perfect marriage, and who aren't even necessarily striving to have a perfect marriage. Like, we can shoot for that, but if we get caught up in perfection, if we get caught up in looking like everybody else looks online, or if we look, looking like, the neighbors look, because so we don't want to have a platform and abuse it by making it seem like everything should be perfect. So we want to provide a place where people can be real. People can come to us with questions, and we'll never try to give you some, ridiculous, overly theological or psychological or scientific answer. We just want to answer based on our experiences,
what we know
about God, what we know from His Word, which we believe to be true and infallible, and then what God has led us through and walked us through in our marriage. Hopefully that can be a benefit to you guys as well. And so, just an atmosphere where we can give you tips and helpful biblical practical tips to have a marriage that is full of love, that is full of joy, because those two things are choices. You choose love and you choose joy, and there's a big difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is circumstantial. Joy is something that the Word of God tells us we get to choose.
We get to choose it.
And then a marriage that is full of purpose, because we know God didn't give us these marriages and these relationships, again, just for our satisfaction.
And it's not an accident. God did not create this by accident. He was very purposeful in how He created marriage. And He wants us to enjoy that and have purpose, and He wants us to have fun. Capital F-U-N. Because if you don't have fun, it's like, gosh, I hate when things aren't fun. I need to laugh in my life. You need to laugh in your life. We need to have fun. Yeah.
So,
of course.
Love, joy, purpose, and fun. Those are kind of our core values, I guess you would say, to this channel or this resource that we're trying to put out there. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Whatever you want to call it.
We don't know social media, so we're just calling it whatever. But if we can help people find those things in their marriage and find a purpose that goes beyond just their own personal happiness, but one of the things we pray every night before you go to bed is, God, use our marriage as a weapon for your kingdom. Use our marriage to impact the people around us, even if it's that, it's only just those two little kids that He's blessed us with, and we can set them up for success in their marriage. However you want to use it, Lord. And don't allow us to become so self-focused that we think our marriage and even each other are just there to make us happy or to fulfill us.
That's a great point,
hopefully we can do that. I know we've said a lot and we've probably gone on way longer than we should have and been way too wordy, but we are excited. We are nervous. And
I know. It's fine.
But again, we're just praying that God uses us however He wants to do. So if there is a specific question that you might have regarding marriage, regarding family, again, we're not counselors, we're not experts.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. We're not counselors. And if you have a question or concern, we don't have our counseling degrees, we will absolutely tell you. If we don't know something, we're gonna say, we don't know.
But what we do have, is we believe we've been given the authority of God to at least take this first step. We know His Word fairly well. Obviously, we're always learning. And then we do have 17 years under our belt, 12 years as a married couple under our belt, which doesn't make us experts, because we know a lot of people who are way further ahead and who have way better marriages than we do. But it does give us some credibility. We've been doing this for a little while, and while we're still in process and in progress, we do have a little bit of a path behind us that we can look back on and say, man, we would do that again, or oh my gosh, we should have never done that.
Yeah.
So that's what we can offer. And so if you've got a question, please feel free to drop it in the comments below. If there's a topic that you would like us to address in a future video, we would love to be able to hear what you guys want and to be able to provide you with that. We're only limited. We're pretty limited in the amount of ideas that we can come up with. We're kind of creative, but not super creative. So we'd love some help and some tips on what would resonate with the YouTube audience that God blesses us with. And so let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'd be more than happy to try to address that in a future video. And ultimately, we just want you guys to know that we love you, we love your marriage, and we know that God's got big things for it. So we hope you'll join us next time on Imperfect Marriage. God bless, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.